Take a look around. Beautiful place. This is the third floor. This is where we're going to shoot today's interview. So first thing I want to do, obviously, is survey the space. I mean, you see this beautiful third floor area. We want to find some nice natural light, sure, but we also have lighting as well. We want to find a space with appropriate depth. I think anytime you're shooting an interview, I think it helps when you have a lot of space, when you have depth, and then when you have, kind of something in the distance. And most of that probably depends on the story, the kind of story that you're telling. But for today, this is going to be a story about history. Where do we want to shoot? So as you look around, you see there's an actual museum exhibit here that we won't go into because obviously it's a museum exhibit, but good to see. But you got a lot of shelving, like a lot of space over here on the side, kind of honoring, different people throughout the city. Then you got this area in here that's kind of like empty with walls. And then we've got our stairwell back here. We got the piano over here. This is the exit of the museum exhibit that we just passed. Let's see what this kind of terrace, kind of stairwell area looks like. I do like how it sounds here. The sound of the air conditioning upstairs, I'm already a little concerned about, but we'll see. I figure the Sennheiser should handle it, but you can hear it when you walk in right here. But yeah, good space. I think what we want to do is look back and see some of this, display. And so I'm looking at, let me set you down right here. I'm looking at how I would frame the subject. I'd probably be sitting, so let's see. I brought the tripods up here to kind of set them down here. But I'm thinking, let me use those chairs as a matter of fact. I'm thinking a chair here for me to talk, and our subject roughly about here. We'll cross light as always, and what we should get is a lot of this kind of display in the background, but subtle enough in terms of the focus, soft focus enough to not see with great clarity, but still accomplish depth. Hopefully, depending on the colors that our subject is wearing, that'll pop off of this background. We'll see. Obviously, if she's got on, let's just say, for example, a lot of tan color, that could probably get lost in the mix back there with the color of the display cases. But first thing I'm thinking walking into this space is I want to set my subject here. We'll cross light. I'll grab the lights in just a second. That's the next thing we'll do. We'll cross light, and then we'll set up the Canon 7D, see what the picture looks like, and we'll also backlight our subject as well. That's going to help kind of pull her off of the background that we have back here. This space. I mean, one could argue that this would also be a great space to shoot interviews here as well. What I don't like about this space is the white walls. I think anytime you have if I'm thinking white walls, that's going to be the primary background of my video by the time I light it up. So that concerns me a little bit. The one thing I do like is that it has depth. I mean, we could probably clear some of this out of the way, just put it on the wall if we needed to. But I think when we look at, because we're talking history, I think it's important to see different displays, different things in the display without seeing specifically what's in the display. I think that kind of helps tell a story. I think it adds, subtle credibility to a story about history. In this case, we're talking about the history of the NAACP here in Denver. And these display cases that you see back here are all paying homage to different, individuals all across the city who have contributed to the betterment of the community. And so, I think it's appropriate to see a little bit of that in the background. What we want to avoid, obviously, is any light reflecting off of the glass. That's always a challenge. But, this space is not bad. If you looked at this space and thought, I might shoot an interview here, I just want you to kind of look at it, get a feel for it, because potentially, sure, you certainly could. I think what helps the idea of not having too much white is the depth. So you have a chance to kind of light it in such a way where you can still keep a lot of the depth behind your subject, to keep it from just looking like a face with a white background. And this is more of a cream color technically, but by the time you light it up, it's going to get a little white in here. And then there's already some kind of track lighting in the ceiling that you can see as well. So, all right, let's get started. Here we go. Our lights are going to go right about here. Just kind of walk across. The lights will be about here. Just a little bit about here, watching across the front of our subject again. And then we'll put a little backlight as well. That always helps pull the subject off the background. It's a nice clean look. All right, the reason we're going to backlight from this side is because when we talk about framing our subject, this interview we're going to have our subject framed slightly left of center. So the long side of the camera will be right, which is why we have our light position also camera left, our backlight, so that wash toward the long side. We'll put a nice rim around our subject, kind of a little subtle light rim around the edge of our subject, which we'll talk about more once we get to framing the subject, right? That's my new word. We're going to use Neewer LED lights today. This is Neewer's 440 panel. So 440 LEDs on this light. Pretty simple little deal. It's got, as you can see, it's got white light and daylight, yellow light controls. Part of what I like about this actual setup. We've got battery power as well for it. This Neewer is going to be our 660. This is our 660 panel, also Neewer. And as you can see, this one has barn doors. So, but again, same controls in the back. We've got, and this is actually upside down. Same controls in the back. Got our white and yellow light controls. Helpful. Next, we have a battery pack. We're going to do throw our batteries in, get our camera set up. We'll check our shot. Here we go. Here. Good to go. Newer. Newer. 160 LED. This is newer. CN 160. See. Actual main one there. Newer CN 160. It's a smaller kind of LED setup. A lot of times you'll mount it on top of a camera. I've done that before too, but for this one, we're going to use it as a soft backlight. Now, the camera tripod. Today we're going to be shooting with the Canon 7D. This is the original 7D too, Canon EOS 7D. This is not like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, none of that. It's a much older model, but it gets the job done. The lens we have is the 50 millimeter lens. It's the 1.8, I'm sorry, the 1.4. It's an L series lens. So definitely a nice lens on there. Let me let you check it out. As a matter of fact, I guess it's probably better to kind of let you see it. But what we'll do in a minute, we'll go ahead and throw this camera on a tripod, and we're gonna see if we can grab a subject too. I'd love to grab somebody to throw them in the chair, see how they look, see if we can kind of light them temporarily just to make sure we've got the look we want. And that's when we'll talk about framing the subject as well. So now that we've got the interview pretty well set up, we want to check our lights. We want to get our audio set up. We've got microphone by Sennheiser wireless lapel mic that we'll be using today, along with the Canon 7D, newer lighting, and that's going to be today's setup. Yeah. Just so you can see how all of it will look. Let's sit right about here. And I kind of want to sit behind the camera just a touch. That's only because I'm both directing and producing. Now, if you're a videographer and you're going to shoot interviews that you won't direct, and you'll set up a similar space like this for a director who will probably sit in front of the camera. You'll make sure the director doesn't move into your shot, that kind of thing. And you'll also want to hear with headphones during the interview, just in case anything triggers the audience. Sometimes you'll even give the director a feed so he or she can hear while they're directing as well. But for today, I'm going to sit behind the camera just so I can watch everything and ask the questions at the same time. Not absolutely necessary, but I enjoy it. Yeah. So, for you guys, girls that want to do it all, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. All right. The other thing I'm going to do is talk to you guys while I'm setting this up. about the camera. Here's what you need to know about shooting, and here's what you need to know about the camera. The video camera and camera in general, photo as well, but video camera by design captures light and the way light reflects and bounces off different objects. That's what the camera does by design. By default, the camera captures light. This is your natural authenticity, the light that comes from within you. The camera also captures by default. That's what you need to understand about camera. This is why authenticity, this is why great acting is selling. This is why reality TV shows are popular. All of it relates to authenticity and light, and not just the natural light that you can see, also the light that you have to be. Also transcends the lens. That's important to know, especially if you're going to do this work. You got a second? Man, it would be helpful to have somebody sit in the chair for a second just so I can kind of set the lighting for when the subject gets here. Please, yes, sir. Just turn some lights over here. We'll see how it plays in the camera. To the camera. So you guys see, I said I want to have a subject, and look, lo and behold, this gentleman came to join us. Let me bring you guys over here to get a look at what we've got going on. Matter of fact, right here should be out of the way enough so you guys can kind of see everything. Actually, you know what? There's a part of you that needs to hear what I'm doing behind camera, and that just dawned on me. So let's get you guys set up right here. All right, now take a look, if you will, at what we're doing in the camera. First thing we're going to do is make our adjustments, obviously. Like what we got. That's our spot right here. Now, we use this button to zoom in. You want to focus the eyes. Very important. So if you're watching the lens here, you have to focus the eyes. If the eyes are in focus, the shot is in focus. If the eyes are in focus, the shot is in focus. Very important to focus the eyes. But this is exactly what I want. Now, one thing I'm just now realizing is my chair should actually be on this side. So because I have my subject aligned to the left, on the left side of the camera, we want to make sure the subject looks across the lens, which means I need to sit just on the other side of the lens so that its vision comes this way across the camera. That's very important. Otherwise, it looks like the subject's going the wrong way. I'm going to slide my chair on this side. Boom. I'm going to knock you over there. All right, but that's subtle. Just that subtle adjustment is a lot. Also, when I look at this frame, let me clear the frame so it's easy to see. When I look at this frame, the other thing is I think we can move in more. So right now we're about waist high to top of the head. So I'm going to push the camera in some more. And let's see if we can come up to about chest high and get an even tighter frame. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, in particular with this model of 7D, I'm going to take this little square, this white box, I'm moving that with this button, and then I'm going to hit this top right corner. I'm going to zoom in. That's a 5-time zoom. It's a 10-time zoom. Now we can see very clearly the eyes are not in focus, of course, because we just moved the camera. When we focus the eyes, We make sure we can see very clearly the eyes, the eyelashes, everything surrounding the eye. Then we can come back out. Now we know we're in focus. And I think we've got a better frame as well. You'll see. I'll take a seat right beside you. So if I'm sitting here talking to my subject, now look here as we talk. As a matter of fact, tell me who you are, where you are, what's going on right now.
I'm Al Garcia. I've been here with the library for 15 years.
There you go. So when Al was talking, if you look right here, you saw his. Tell me more about working at the library, Al. Watch Al talk here while he's talking.
You feel good to help people, help them, they leave. I did work clerk and security. I worked at the desk as well. Now they just want me to do security.
So you notice when Al was talking, because he was looking alongside of the camera, it's like he can look right into the camera, and that's a look. But for a lot of interview, you want to have your subject looking across the lens as well, but as though he's looking in the camera. So you saw that here. Well done. Great job. That's what we want to accomplish, I think, with today's shot. And so our subject will be here shortly. We're going to get the microphone by Sennheiser ready. We've got our lights by Newer. Our interview is set up. And now we've also talked about framing the subject, focusing the eyes. So we'll get our subject mic'd up and ready to go. And next thing you know, you guys will be out to shoot like a guru. Thank you, Coach Al. Appreciate it, man. Well done. Beautiful.
Absolutely.